Hey guys, Andy here. So I've recently got back into cycling, really to try and drop a bit of weight, improve my fitness. So I probably should start out right now by saying I'm not a serious cyclist. I'm not, if you're looking for somebody that races and things, you want their opinion on this device, this probably isn't the review for you. If you're more of a casual cyclist, likes going out from time to time just to do 10, 12 miles, whatever, to stay in shape, then maybe this will be helpful. So, as with any new hobby, I'm always looking at what tech can I buy, what sort of gadgets can I use to help me with them. And I thought about, obviously, a cycling computer, and it seemed to be between Garmin and Wahoo. Some of the reviews I watched on YouTube for the Wahoo devices, they were basically commenting that they preferred the Wahoo, they've moved over from a Garmin device, and they were happier where they were. So, I thought, okay, let's go with Wahoo. Then there are three different versions of the Wahoo. There's the Wahoo ELEMNT, the Wahoo ELEMNT Bolt, and the Wahoo, is it ELEMNT Mini, or is it just Wahoo Mini? All with different qualities. I'm not really sure why I chose the ELEMNT. I didn't really look into it in great detail. It just seemed to me that seemed to be the highest spec one. It's got more sets of LED lights and things than the others, slightly bigger screen, and it just looked like a really good device. So the ELEMNT, or regular ELEMNT, is one that I went with. Then you've got the choice of just the unit or a bundle. And initially I went with just the unit, but within about a day I realised, you know what, I think I want the bundle that's got all the different sensors in it. So I changed, because I bought it from Amazon, I sent back the singular unit, and I'd already ordered the bundle version, which comes with a heart rate monitor, speed monitor, which I think is only any use if you're like attaching it to a stationary bike, because when you're outside cycling, the GPS will tell you the speed that you're cycling, and a cadence sensor, which basically gives you revs per minute of the pedals. So let's have a look first of all at what comes in the box, and what's included. So you can see here the two different boxes. They're basically identical boxes in shape, size, and pretty much every bit of print, except for on the bundle you can see it is labelled in the bottom left corner, look, with the different sensors that are in it. So let's go ahead and open the sort of magnetic flap, pull out the tray with all of the goodies in. So we see the actual cycle computer for the first time, the clip on the back, and obviously it's got a screen protector with all the information printed on there. Inside of this one we've got the speed sensor, the heart rate monitor. Next thing I did, one of the clips mounts, and here's the actual handlebar mount you're generally going to use. Here's another mount that can go over a bar and be strapped in with cable ties. Here's the cadence sensor. You get some extra cable ties, and then you get an instruction manual kind of showing you how to install the app and pair up the device. So before we head out onto the actual bike, let's take a look at the design of the device. On the website it talks about the aerodynamics of it. I think the Bolt might be the more aerodynamic, but it talks about how many seconds you'll save. I don't know, I didn't really pay much attention with very honest. I don't think it particularly applies to somebody of my size, perhaps, because there's a much greater issue of wind resistance of me rather than a little gadget strapped to the handlebar. It does feel a very solid device. It feels like it could bounce down the road if worst came to the worst, and you just strap it back in and off you'd go. The buttons are quite sort of rubbery, but also clicky. I don't know if you can hear the clicks. The first time I mounted it though, the mount comes in from the one side, and I was pressing and it was moving slightly. It was a little bit hard to know if I'd pressed and clicked when I had my gloves on and I had my earphones in and things like that. So just beware, just take a little bit of force to actually click. The screen obviously is monochrome. It's described as being high contrast, day bright display, and to be fair, I had no issues seeing it when I was out cycling. It generally is very visible, and you can zoom in and out using the buttons anyway to make things bigger, easier to read. There are LEDs, you can't really see them when we're off. There are LEDs along the top, and there are LEDs along the side, which give various different information. If you're following a route, I've never really noticed, because I suppose I'm not paying too much attention to it, but I think they flash showing you which direction you should be turning. And on the side you can have it like a power meter or a heart rate monitor type thing, or if you're ahead or behind on a sort of an average pace on the ride that you're on. It clips in and out of the mount very easily. It seems to work really well. goes in very easy and smoothly, it comes out very easy and smoothly. Then we have the app, which I'm going to bring in here. We can monitor, or we can look back at previous results, seeing the speed we're doing, my heart rate zones. I don't think I've got that set up quite right. And then cadence, that's quite interesting. That's a new one because I've only fitted the cadence sensor today. Different sets. This stuff from Strava, you can see here it's synced to Strava and to Google Fit. There are other options. If we add the plus there, look, so maybe you use one of these other things. I just want Strava, really, the main thing, because Strava syncs across to Google Fit anyway. The temperature as well, just while I was riding. So there's all that kind of information, which is very good. We can see my profile. Again, we've linked the two accounts. We've already seen that. Set your height and weight and your heart rate zones, which again, I think it seems to keep resetting these, or just, I don't know, just not using them properly perhaps. And then we've got some actual settings. So we can change what pages we see. Like I don't think I want the lap data. That gets quite annoying actually. Work out, that's your regular cycle. When we go into that again, you can see what different things are showing. So for example, if we want to move the heart rate to be more important, or just to the top, so it's moved up to the top there, I'll move it back down and it moves instantly. If I want my cadence and stuff, or the grade of the hill that I'm on, and you can add things in and out. I can just swipe. I could swipe one away. I'm not going to delete it, but you can swipe them away. Again, with the map, at the moment I only have the current speed. I should really add something else, like I want the trip distance. Here we go, distance in the workout. There we go. So that will now appear alongside at the top when the map's showing. And again, you can turn different ones on and off, and that's what you rotate through. So I've turned the map one off, just for example. Oops. So now as I rotate through segments and back to the beginning, so I've taken the maps out. I could put them back, it's fine. So what else? Always rotate the map so it's going the way that you are. Set up the Wi-Fi on the device so it syncs. Auto shutdown. So I think we're probably about ready to head out to the bike. And in fact we're not. I forgot. I thought I'd show you just real quickly how you add a sensor. You basically just make sure the sensor's next to the device and it should find them. And when you say I want to save this sensor, it says, do you want to add the data to your pages? You say yes please, and it does it automatically. So here's the speed sensor fitted, and here goes the cadence sensor, which I believe just sticks to the inside of the pedal, like so. Obviously, just check that it does spin around without catching on anything, because you don't want it to come straight off as soon as you set out. Then with one hand, as you can see, it's very easy to click into place. It does feel sturdily held in place as well, so there's no concerns there. And then I think it's time to set off on my ride. So I've not been feeling well of late. You might be just telling my voice I have a bit of a cold, so I'm going to blame any sort of poor performance from cycling that you see on that. That's going to be my excuse. So as I've said, actually it's quite easy to read when you're cycling, but what I did realise when looking back at the video footage, that any little bump in the road means it's being jumped about, and it is a little bit hard to see. So what we're going to do is we'll freeze frame it for a second and go through the information you can see. At the top, 7.2 miles an hour. The top left says the distance I've done so far, which is just 0.1 miles. The actual time, which is 11:44 a.m. in this case. How long I've been cycling, which is 53 seconds. My heart rate at the moment is 110. The cadence, or the revs per minute, is 79 of the pedals, and my average heart rate is 87. As I said, you can zoom in and out to make, I don't know, put more information in, or to zoom in to make the current information larger. Well, not the current, because it'll drop off the bottom bits. And as I've already said as well, you can change what you're looking at in each view. You can see here it's quite easy to switch through the pages. I'm going to switch over to the map view for a second. It does sync with Strava. I love how it syncs with Strava generally, in fact. So you can plan routes on Strava and then sync them to the device and select a route. And this is then, you can use this almost like a sat nav to follow the route as you're going. At the moment, I can see I'm heading west, but you can have it so that it just shows you always upwards of the direction you're going. The other great thing with syncing with Strava is its segments, which are just sort of little portions of your ride, certain streets that you can sort of challenge yourself almost. You can see here I'm approaching a segment, and we're going to freeze it for a second again, and it tells me I'm 66 feet away from the segment, and my current personal record is 1 minute and 33. As we roll into it, we'll see me crossing into the segment. You get a nice clear go, and now the page you see is the segment page. My cycling sort of speeds up a bit, and again we're going to freeze it so you can see what you're looking at on the segment page. So with 50 seconds into the segment, I'm 15 seconds ahead of my personal record, which is 133, and the bottom row shows there's 393 feet left in the segment, and at the moment I'm heading for a 118, which obviously very good. The very bottom row there is kind of a visual representation of how far through the segment we are, but it also will show you gradients. If it goes up and down, that's sort of the same gradient that you'll be cycling over. Then we're going to sort of skip ahead a little bit. It's hard going the latter part of this segment because it's quite steep uphill, but we will see in a second that it was all worthwhile. And look at that, I took 10 seconds off my PR, which was really pleasing. So I love this part though, that the whole live segments, because I just find it really motivational. I'm a really competitive person, so having those sort of things as I'm cycling around really helps. And as we get to the end, I could have waited and it would just say auto pause, do I want to stop? And once I say yes, you then get the kind of the summary basically of your ride. Now if you're connected into your phone, that's automatically going to upload to Strava straight away without you having to do anything. If you don't, you're going to have to bring it back into the house and let it connect to the Wi-Fi to upload and sync. But if it's connected to your phone, it happens, I mean, almost instantly. And again, I just love the different stats that you can then scroll through that Strava will have thanks to the Wahoo ELEMNT. So in conclusion, it is quite a pricey device, and I guess whether it's worthwhile investment is entirely up to you and how you feel about spending 220 or 300 pounds on a cycle computer. For me, I love the live segments. They're a really big motivator. I should point out you do need to have Strava, the paid version of Strava, for that to work, but you get 60 days free with the ELEMNT, so you can try it and see if you think it's something you want. And actually I think I probably will pay. I think a year is about £48, and like I say, it's just such a big sort of motivator for me. I think it's worthwhile. So I love it. It's nice and easy to read. You can have whatever information you want on the screen. It's very sort of customizable in that respect. It's very easy to operate. I think it's possibly better that it's not a touch screen. I think a touch screen could get quite tricky and confusing when you're bouncing down roads and you're trying to operate the device. So all in all, it gets a big thumbs up from me. I'd love to know what you think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. But for now, my name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon. Well done, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you might want to click the little fellow that should hopefully appear about here to subscribe. You may also want to check out some of my other videos, which are going to appear somewhere there. Also, come and have a look at my website, androidandy.uk. There is also a forum. Come and say hello on the forum. If you've got any questions about things or request me to review things or anything else, just come and have a chat on the forum.